Okay, so we are starting our unit 2.2. So basically unit 2.2 is starting our inverting functions unit. To begin with, we are going to talk about writing mathematics sentences. So on your do now today, you had to write the inverse of some actions, right? Were all the actions math actions? No. But the inverse, as you can tell, is just doing the opposite of what you did, right? That's the same thing mathematically, okay? How many of you, by show of hands, remember in middle school, elementary school, where your teacher would give you a word problem and you had to write an equation about it? So like it says twice as many apples as John, or something like that. You had to write it. Okay. Essentially, that's what we're doing. So let's take a stroll down memory lane. Look up at the board. These are keywords in math. Now, in your notes, you can write these words down if you need them, but if you don't need them, then that is a-okay. Okay. So here for addition, these are all the words that you learned meant addition from elementary to middle school, right? The sum, plus, and, total, increase, more. All these things told us that we were adding a value, right? Okay, same thing for subtraction, same thing for multiplication, and same thing for division. When you're looking for the solution of an addition problem, that's called the what? The sum. So the solution of the addition problem is called the sum. The solution of a subtraction problem is called the solution of a multiplication problem is called the solution of a division problem is called the quotient. Okay. All right. So again, if you need to write these things down, you can, but these are words that you need to be comfortable seeing and reading and knowing what they're wanting you to do, right? Okay. Now, as we've progressed in our class, in our math classes, there are some other words that we have to operate with, right? Because do you only add, subtract, multiply, and divide? No, you do not. So as we've gone, we've learned that you can square something, right? You can take the square root, which is the opposite. You can find the exponent of something, huh? Minus minus. Are you making me second guess like it was like I did something wrong? That's right, right? Oh, okay. All right, square. And then as you keep going in math, you're gonna learn there are other things you can do, right? But at this point, this pretty much summarized words that we should know what to do and what they mean. Agreed? Okay. Did anyone need to write them down, or are you comfortable and have these words in your brain? Because this is all of your notes, right? By the way, it's just this. Okay. Now we're moving into the assignment, but I'm just saying, as far as notes, this is all the notes. Okay. Are we good? All right. So what are we going to do with this information? Well, you need a piece of paper, of notebook paper, and you're going to put your name on the paper, and you're going to title it 2.2a practice. Spread the word practice somewhere on it. Okay. You're going to divide the paper in half. So exhibit A on the right-hand side. You're going to have your name, your period, your title, and you're going to create two halves. Yeah. Okay. So, on the board, baby. All right. On the right side, you're going to title it equations translated into words. On the left side, not right side, left side. And then on your right side, you're going to write inverse actions in words. All right. Okay. So that's your setup. Now, what you're going to be doing is with a partner, or if you're a group of three, You're going to translate the equations into words, and then you're going to read what you write to your partner and see if they understand it, okay? You are not solving for X. You're going to tell me how to solve for X, but you are not solving for X. Does that make sense? Okay. So if you look right here, here's an example of me doing my work. So on my left-hand side, my problem was 2x plus 4 equals 8. I wrote it as a sentence. A number multiplied by 2 plus 4 equals 8. Okay. Notice that I wrote a number. That's because X is a variable. And what did you define a variable being in your do now last week? An unknown number, right? Some number, an unknown quantity. Okay. Now, my inverse actions. Your inverse action is saying, if I wanted to get X by itself, what do I need to do? Okay. So if I want to get X by itself, what would I need to do? Well, I would need to subtract 4 from 8. Agree? Then divide the difference by 2. Is that true? Mm-hmm. Would I then have X by itself? Yes. Okay. Next, on number 2, my example is 3x squared equals 17. What is that in a number sentence? A number squared multiplied by 3 equals 17. Okay. And then the inverse actions. My inverse, what would I need to do to get X by itself? Well, I would need to divide 17 by 3, then take the square root of the quotient. Okay. Why is it the square root of the quotient? Because the quotient, because I divide it, right? The solution to dividing is the quotient. The solution to subtracting is the difference, right? Okay. There are other sentences you can write to illustrate what's happening. Does that make sense? Because we looked at that list of all the other words that mean. It's just about how you put those words together. Okay. That's what you're doing. On your problems 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, they're being graded for accuracy. Okay. 6 is for effort because 6 leads us into tomorrow's lesson. Okay. So I expect you to get the translated words correctly, but I will be surprised if anyone actually gets the inverse actions correct. No, the yellow is just an example. You're only doing your own. Okay. All right. So this is what you're working on for the rest of the period. What you don't finish is homework, and then it's due Wednesday. Got it? All right. Get her done.